I'd like to start with the comments that I've made to other media units, but I'll make them again. I am incredibly sorry for the hurt that I've caused Natalie, my daughters, and Vicky since my marriage broke up last year. I say that again. I'm incredibly sorry and apologise to the people of New England, but appreciate their immense support that I've received, immense support. And I also state to my colleagues in the National Party, I thank them deeply for the support they have given me and apologise once more to them for the inconvenience and the hurt as they have gone on sections of this trial and tribulation with me. Our task, and I'll start with this, in the National Party is to help the people in the weatherboard 9. That is why we come into this building, to look after them. In regards to code that the Prime Minister announced yesterday, of course, it's the Prime Minister's code. And as it is the Prime Minister's code, we support it. And we will do our best endeavours to see it through. It goes without saying that this will create immense fodder for the good people in the media. And it will obviously reverberate across all political parties. I'll go on by saying that I would not wish on friend nor foe the hurt, the scrutiny, the intense intrusion into your lives that I've gone through this process. I would not wish that on friend nor foe. And I think that that's something that has to be managed with the greatest deftness, as relationships at times in all workplaces are put under strain, and some instances get back together again. And I think that you have to be very careful in that space. In regards comments by the Prime Minister yesterday at his press conference, I have to say that in many instances they caused further harm. I believe they were in many instances inept, and most definitely in many instances unnecessary. The reason I say that, it was public knowledge what was being repeated. It was public knowledge that had run on the front pages of papers. And all it does is reinvest in the hurt that is held by other people. I don't know if I have to say that because I listened to it and I thought that was completely unnecessary. All that's going to do is basically once more pull the scab off for everybody to have a look at. In regards to the National Party, there is nothing that we dislike more than implied intervention into the party processes of the National Party. We are our own independent political unit. We make our own decisions, especially around those who are the office holders. Far from assisting, it always does the same thing in the National Party, and I've been around this organisation for over a couple of decades. It locks people in. It locks people in as they lock in behind the leader. So I would not be making comments or implied comments about the leadership of the Liberal Party, and we don't expect to get implied comments about the leadership of the National Party. To go to the issue of the apartment, and I know that's what people have been discussing the last couple of days. When I was neither a minister nor a member, but basically a citizen, and living with my sister, to be quite frank, living with my sister, a friend approached me and said that he would offer me a place to stay. Now, friends do not charge friends rent. And of course, that seemed a more stable arrangement, so I took him up on that offer. What is more important is that apartment that has now been displayed through multiple media outlets and has been noted in its address and everything to do with it. I'll add this. In my time in politics, I've had multiple death threats. The most recent has been charged, convicted, and is awaiting sentencing, and that was in Armidale. He lives approximately 5 kilometres from the place that has now been notified. This is also completely unwarranted and unnecessary. And I ask people just to think about exactly what you're doing before you do that. I had to find a place that was secure. That is the nature of it. I think at the start they hadn't found this guy. I needed a secure and anonymous place to basically live. And this announcement makes things incredibly difficult for both myself, for both Vicky, and for our child that's going to be born, as we try to manage that situation. Now, I conclude where I started. I apologise to Natalie. I apologise to my daughters. And I apologise to Vicky. All these people did not buy the ticket. And they've been dragged into that. Our job will remain to looking after the people in the weatherboard 9, to making sure those who are born in areas where they are not proximate to the advantages of those in the cities have the capacity to transcend through the economic and social stratification of life to their highest levels, limited only by their innate ability. That is our task in this building, and that is what I intend to go immediately back to. Now, I'm going to take 3 questions, right? And that's it. So let's go. I'm going to go. Chris Ullman.
You just described the Prime Minister as inept, and he's expressed a lack of confidence in you. How can you continue to work together?
Well, Chris, I'm intending to make sure that, like all relationships, that this relationship gets back onto an even keel. But, you know, I stand by my statement that I'm the leader of the National Party. He's the leader of the Liberal Party. And it's implicitly incredibly important for our nation that these 2 parties get together and work closely. It's been the most successful operation in post-Second World War Australia. And like all relationships, that is another one we have to work on.
Do you accept that?
Just simply, Mr Joyce, why won't you resign?
Well, quite simply because that would not be, it's not a decision of my colleagues. It is a right of the leader of the National Party to reflect on where their colleagues are. My colleagues support me. We have a job to do. This was a personal issue that's been dragged into the public arena, and I don't believe people should be resigning in any job over personal issues.
Isn't it a failure to take responsibility? Do you accept that by refusing to resign, you will continue to be a distraction for the government and continue to damage the government as it fails to be able to get its message through?
No, I don't. I believe that it is incumbent upon all people to make sure that we get back to the issues that are important. That's what I do. I'm quite supported, obviously, by my electorate, and my electorate's a catalyst of getting back to your job. Then the last by-election, we did a very good job. And I'll take one more because...
Isn't it a failure to take responsibility for your actions, Minister?
Sorry?
Isn't not resigning a failure to take responsibility?
No, it's not, because that is saying that you're going to now make personal issues incumbent upon a job. And in any workplace in Australia, when personal issues become the determination of a job, then I think we've moved to a very sad place. Thank you very much.
Behaving like a victim.
OK, so there goes the Nationals leader and Deputy Prime Minister of Australia, Barnaby Joyce. Now, the